Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first edition of the Saw Wrestling Report. Brought to you by Sioux Area Wrestling. I'm your host, Rob Zagorek. Each week we'll keep you up to date with wrestling news and rumors and an interview with a Saw superstar. So now welcome to the Sioux's brand of sports entertainment. I'd like to introduce to you a special guest. He was the former Cruiserweight champion, Vinny Da Vinci.
Hey,
Great to have you here, man.
Too,
Yeah,
it's been a while, a long time. How you been?
Right on. Okay, so glad to see that you made it down here. Our first show. You're our first guest. So how does that feel?
It's great, man. I always love coming up to the Sioux. It's a great opportunity to see some of the boys, and I'm very excited for what's coming on down the road. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been a while since I've been in the spotlight here in Sault Ste. Marie, and thanks for having me.
So I hear you're coming off an injury. How's that going?
I've been out for about 6 months. Hexam put me out when we were up in Wawa wrestling last year with Saw. I missed about 6 months. Just starting to get back into it now. I had a few tune-up matches down the road, getting ready for a bigger turn, and starting to hit the gym hard again. And I'm excited come January. So it's.
Yeah, I heard you had an iconic match in Wiki.
Funny story. The return of Rocco Da Vinci. Diego and I, we actually had an opportunity to work with his brother a little bit. He got excited and wanted to get back in the ring, and he didn't wrestle per se, but we did have him in our corner for a few events, and it's nice to have the family back together. It's like old times.
Yeah. So the original Da Vinci.
Yeah, Rocco, he helped pave the way for his brother and myself, and he's been in the business now. Started back in 2000. He retired shortly before I got into wrestling, so it's really nice to see everything come full circle and be able to go with that. I know Diego's excited to get to see his brother, and he's been working his butt off over the last year. He's been traveling everywhere. The guy just doesn't know when to stop. I took time off, and he doubled down. So it's been an interesting year, to say the least.
So it must have been quite the learning experience. I'm sure there's a wealth of knowledge there.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So, any upcoming matches? Anything big coming up with Mr. Da Vinci? Or
aside from the Saw stuff that's planned. I'm keeping my schedule open right now. I've been doing a little bit of film. I've been working on a few movies, actually. Diego and I have recently got a wrestling spot in a film that they're filming in the Sioux, so I'll be sticking around for a little bit, taking some time off, visiting, and doing some filming. So that's something exciting as well. So
that's
always
fantastic.
love coming up here. So.
And I heard you were just in a film, weren't you?
Yeah, I did some background, nothing too major, but you got to start somewhere. I don't see myself being the next Dwayne Johnson or nothing, but you never know. One door opens, another one opens.
I'm starting to make the crossover, I guess.
I'll never be done wrestling. That's where I am first and foremost. I'm not too worried about jumping to the silver screen. I'm gonna keep it where the action is, so to speak.
It's good to hear. So any grudges from the past or any unsettled business? Who's going to be your first match with the Saw's return?
I don't call the shots or anything, but I can have a feeling that after the fallout from Wawa last year, I'm sure Hexam's got to answer for especially putting me out. I'd like to speak my peace of mind and get a little bit of retribution for what he put me through. But there's me and Hexam. Whether or not they want me to team with Diego, or I don't know. I don't know what the plans are yet. It's still pretty early on. But come January, keep tuned with the wrestling report, and more information will come, and we'll be able to take it from there.
And you and Hexam also had some bad blood for many years now.
He's that one guy that won't go away. We've wrestled each other hundreds of times. I could probably work him every night of the week, and we'd still have unfinished business. It's always, how am I going to put him away this time? What dirty trick does he have up his sleeve?
And technically, he's still a Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah, see, that's something else I'm not too sure of what's going on with the title picture, with the new structuring of the Sioux Area Wrestling and how the company's coming up. I really don't know what's going to happen with that. I know there's been some hard times over the last year for the company itself. So if Hexham's still the champ, I would like my rematch. That's one thing I don't want to go unsaid, whether or not it's for a championship or just a return match. I definitely like to. I don't know if you remember what happened, but he's always got something up his sleeve. That guy.
Yeah, well, I remember most of your matches quite vividly, especially one of the first ones in Saw there, or well, actually was the first Taurus match was the ladder match, right?
Yeah. When Hexam and I worked for the Cruiserweight Championship back in, I believe it was 2006, 2006, 2007?
2007, yeah.
2007, yeah. And, that match had a lot of momentum, a lot of build-up. We pretty much wanted to kill each other by the end of that. And we pretty much did, too. So, yeah, I still have vivid memories of those days and the intense rivalry we had. He's one of those guys that always brought me up to the next level. I never knew what to expect. Just when you thought you knew the guy, he'd always pull something out, and he'd always keep me on my toes. That's one thing I always liked about competing against Hexam. He really knew how to bring out the best in me. At least in a wrestling capacity, he always kept me sharp, kept me smart.
Yeah, fantastic matches. I'm sure we're going to see good ones to come too. So, anything else you'd like to see Saw come up with now since it's coming back? I heard it's going to run monthly. The smaller venue, though.
There's a lot of talk on the internet right now about Saw is downsizing. Saw's got a smaller venue. They're not running at the George Leach, but I think what the fans don't really realize is before Superior Wrestling events would be held at most 2 to 3 times per year. It'd be these large, high-capacity crowds, and they were monster shows. Big stars, big names, big wrestling. But at the end of it all, it was always the beginning that I think back to when there were the smaller Elks Lodge events, when there were 100 to 150 fans in the crowd. And they were loud, and they were into it, and they were the diehards. They weren't the casual wrestling fan off the street looking for something to do. They were the guys that, they were there. They loved it. They lived it. And, for everything to go full circle like that, I'm excited because, you get your tickets because they're going to go quick. And,
yeah, that's for sure. About 200 and some people for this event. It is a smaller event, like from past shows with 500 plus people. But yeah, exactly what you said. You're gonna have your core hardcore Saw fans. That's nothing to go against anybody else. But now running a monthly show, I think that's gonna be some badass stuff.
For sure. And let's see where it goes from there. Now we have an opportunity to settle scores and to build on the entertainment factor. The fans are gonna see us month to month. They're not gonna have to wait 6-7 months for an event, for a big event. They're gonna have the opportunity to come out once a month and see what we do. And I don't need an excuse to come to the Sioux.
Yeah, that's definitely a beautiful thing. That's going to be a monthly show. Anything else? Anything you want to hit on?
I'd really like to see what Saw has in mind for the future. There's a lot of guys over the years that have worked for this company that I'd like to see back. Guys like, Rip Impact, and even newer additions like Ojiko. Like these guys, they gelled up here. They clicked. They were guys in the locker room that, I'd see and I'd say, hey, I wouldn't mind going 20 minutes with this guy and seeing what he's made of, and just really keep it fresh. I'd like to see some of the old faces from yesteryear come back and make an appearance in some form or capacity. Guys like D-Ray, absolutely. I'd love to see D-Ray back up here. I'd love to see. Thinking back to the first Saw event.
So like, what about bringing in like past old names? Maybe don't have the youth that they used to have, but tremendous amounts of money to bring in. You think those are a draw or?
Well, you got to build around your local talent. People will come and see the big stars of yesteryear, but it's not the main reason why people are going to come back. They want to see their hometown hero. They want to see that guy that works his butt off every night when he hits that ring. from the wrestler's perspective, it's great to have a veteran in the locker room. Don't kid me. The knowledge, especially with someone that's been in the business 15, 20 years, it's tremendous for the athlete in the locker room. It may get an extra 10 or 15 people in the door, but really it's that connection that the roster has with the local fans. That's what's important.
Yeah, so you're saying that the youth is the key, but still you got to sometimes hit up those old guys for the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that nowadays, we need a younger class of wrestlers coming up. The future does look bleak for mainstream, but there's a lot of good names out there. A lot of these guys are retiring.
And that's another thing too. If you look at the big leagues in North America, they cycle through their guys every 5 years. It's just not what it used to be. You don't see long careers. You got young guys getting hurt, people just going running their course. And if you look at a main league wrestling promotion in America, their roster over the last 5 years, I guarantee you, look at any pay-per-view from back in the day, those guys, half of them, maybe one or two guys, are still working for those companies. And you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it. You got to go with the times. No one wants to see slow-paced wrestling no more. They want to see these young guys give her, and that's something you have to take advantage of.
So we're gonna see you giving her then. What's that date again?
January 25th, Polish Hall, St. Marie, Ontario, 232 Goulet Avenue. Located
232, yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah,
in the West
End.
End.
We got it right here. That's the poster. Is that not the poster?
That's
a beautiful
the
poster. Okay, so Polish Hall. 233 or 233?
232.
232 Goulet Avenue. Be there. It's going to be a hell of a show. Like we said, going to be monthly show. My friend Vinny is going to be there. Long-time personal friend. Diego is another friend. You're going to see both those guys rip it up. They're the Da Vinci's. Hopefully, we're going to be presenced by Rocco Da Vinci. I'd like to thank you once again. Thank you for coming out very much.
Anytime.
And please comment, Facebook, YouTube. Get me on there. We're gonna get a Twitter account put together, but please comment on the Facebook or YouTube. Subscribe, Mr. Zagorek, and peace.